to get that loaded up, and hopefully you can see that. Let me see if I can still see the chat. Yep, that's all well. So as I said, today we're doing the how-to, exploring how to communicate and deliver group activities online, methods and channels. Using the right online platform for your organization or group is important for being able to communicate, stay in touch and reach out to more people. Engaging with your members online will help you reach as many people as possible, which obviously if your group is more visible, you're going to have a more further reach and further impact on the groups that you're looking to interact with. Engaging with your members online will help you reach as many people as possible, and today we're going to look at how you can make the most of online platforms and channels, the best methods and channels for your group, and how you can use these to communicate, network, and deliver your group activities. So this how-to series is a part of our digital training webinar series where we aim to empower groups and explore the digital landscape and discover the best way to suit their needs. So this session is tailored towards groups looking to interact with their circles online and how to do that best for them, how to tailor what's available to you into a way that works as efficiently as possible. In addition to this, as we showed in our first bite-sized session, we are hosting smaller sessions aimed at helping people to become more digitally enabled and develop their digital confidence. At the moment, many people are isolated and lack social interaction. It's important that people have the ability and confidence to use technology, and the bite-size are sort of a run-through of core IT skills that we hope will enable people to do so. Today's session will be a 45-minute webinar, followed by a 15-minute Q&A session where you can ask any related questions to the stuff that we'll be talking about. To enhance these sessions, we're also hosting monthly clinics. So this is separate from the bite size and the how-to webinars. The monthly clinics offer a chance for you to ask questions on a topic. So we'll pick 2 topics per month and come with any questions that you have and have a one-on-one, more personal experience so that you can really sort through any issues, specific issues that you might be having. Groups can take part in these one-to-one sessions, and each month we'll have the 2 specific topics to choose. And we'll be releasing the dates as we go on, but we're looking for about the 26th of October for our first one. So keep an eye out on social medias or get in touch and I can email you details of the clinics so that you can make sure to register for them. And it will be appointment based. So once the details have all come out and we've worked out all of that, you can email me, book a slot, and we'll have a bit of time to talk through anything that you're struggling with, or just anything you want some more information on. So, methods. There are many ways to communicate and network online. To be able to select what's best for you, it's important to know what your options are. Some of the options that you have are online messaging, group chats, group emails, video calling, phone calling, text, online conferencing, and those are just some of the options. There are many, many possibilities with the internet, but we'll be focusing on what's easy to use, free to use, that sort of thing. We're looking at things that would tailor best to the sort of group that we're working with. So these methods can be used to host meetings, deliver presentations and training, attend appointments, participate in social activities, network with other people, host events, and catch up with other members of the groups. So the first one that we'll look at is online messaging. So online messaging services can provide a multitude of purposes. It is an application where you send messages, images, audio, video, and attachments, all via the internet. This means that calls and texts sent via the platform will not be charged to your phone bill, providing you have a Wi-Fi connection. The benefits of online messaging or text don't stop there. You can also create group chats where multiple people can talk and send each other different media. For example, pictures, videos, or ask each other's questions. Group chats are the easiest way to have casual conversation with many participants online, and they create a safe space to send information, ask questions, and catch up. So group chats are perfect for someone looking to maybe be the admin. So if you were running a group, you would be the admin, and you might send a weekly update or an update on, say I had a group chat, I could send in information on the how-to and to message me privately if you'd like to register, and people can ask questions. And the fact that you're asking questions publicly and responding publicly within that group chat means that everyone sees the questions and answers, so everyone can get that information through other people, and it keeps everyone informed, and it keeps a stronger community because people can then interact with each other within the group. So it's definitely a method I'd highly recommend. The next method that we will look at is email. So to communicate with one another and distribute information, email, and more specifically group emails, are extremely useful. Group email allows you to send and receive messages to and from anyone with an email address anywhere in the world. And as we know, email is the most widely used form of online communication. So it makes it more likely to be able to reach more people. As one of the most commonly forms of messaging used in and out of the workplace, email is an easy and free service worth learning. The pros for email are great for sending out more formal information. You can attach documents and pictures, and you can send to multiple email addresses all in one go. When sending a group email, it's best practice to comply with GDPR. To not know everyone's email addresses and keep them hidden from other people that you're sending the emails to. To do this, you insert the email address into the BCC bar instead of the to bar. This means that the people will be copied in on the email, but they won't have access to every single person's email in the group. It's a great way of distributing news, for example, a newsletter, an e-bulletin in this type of email sent out to a subscription list. Having regular informational emails allows people to keep up to date with your group, meetings and activities. It's important that if you're sending marketing emails such as newsletters out to people, that you have their permission. As you often see with companies that send you marketing emails, there's an unsubscription button, so maybe a good idea just to include at the bottom of any e-newsletter that you might be sending out an option to opt out as well. But newsletters via email are a great idea because there's no paper involved and people can expect it. As long as it's consistent, people will keep up to date with what you and your group are doing, and therefore are more likely to be able to support this and join in. So the next method that we'll move on to is video calling. Calling people on video is a great way to connect from afar and see people we are talking to. Video calling from your phone can be done through a multitude of apps. The most commonly used apps are Facetime, WhatsApp, Zoom, Teams, Skype, and Facebook Messenger. All of these can be used on your phone or your laptop. I know that you can use WhatsApp web on your laptop. I'm not sure about the calling. And FaceTime, you can only use it on your laptop if you have an iMac. So there are certain limitations to these, but you can get the apps on your phone if you have a smartphone, so there is always that option. And you can choose the video calling app that works best for you, and we'll go through those apps later. Another great method of communication is the phone call. Phone calls are one of the fastest and most reliable ways to contact people. It's hard nowadays to not have access to a phone, and most people keep a mobile phone device on them at all times. Phone calls are the most reliable forms of communication, as people are more likely to have access to a landline or a mobile, and the alert is quite loud, so people are more likely to pick up quickly. So it's not the form of communication I would choose for distributing information, but more if you need one-on-one contact with someone, it's definitely a very good route to pursue, as long as they're comfortable with you having access to their phone number. So just make sure you have consent, but in terms of reliability, it's a really good form of communication. Another is online conferencing. So web-based conferencing can be used for meetings and training events and lectures or presentations like this one. They take place via web-based programs, and other users can connect and access the activity that is taking place. Platforms such as Zoom and Teams have been designed for this type of application and have become fundamental to many people and organizations. These programs are suited to both business and social activities, as they allow people to come together and collaborate. So, Zoom and Skype and other online conferencing services such as Teams is something I highly recommend. I think that face-to-face interaction, especially if you're communicating with a group that you want to create community within, is so important, as it means you can get to know people. Because as group chats are great for sharing information and asking questions, you don't get to see the person behind the screen. So even just short and quick catch-ups on a video conference once a week, once a month, would probably do wonders for the community aspect of your group. And also it means you have a live feedback of how people are feeling, of how people are interacting with the content that you're sharing. It's a really great way to gauge what is going on within the group and what's working and what's not. So it's definitely something that I'd recommend if you're looking at the social aspects of how you're distributing information. So we'll move on to platforms and the best platforms to use for what you wish to be achieving. So before was methods, and now we'll move on to platforms and how they work within the methods. So WhatsApp is a messenger app. It's free to download on all smartphones, and it uses the internet instead of messages to send messages, images, audio, or video. The service is very similar to text messaging, but it functions without the cost and is also free to send messages internationally, which is a big plus if you're trying to keep in contact with long distance people or just share information with them without them having to pay large phone bills. So the way it does this is WhatsApp uses the internet rather than a phone provider. If you're communicating with members or a group of people, WhatsApp is a great tool. It's more likely to be accessible for people who do not have or use social media. Creating a group chat is a great way of sharing information, organizing, or starting a discussion. You can even put things into a group chat, such as, how do you feel about this activity that we plan to be doing in the next 2 weeks? Or, do you have any ideas for what you might like to see from us as we're working on, say if it was me, our digital training sessions? That's something that I could put in a group chat and get feedback from people and people can build on each other's answers. So it's a really great tool, and WhatsApp would be a great platform to do this, as it's not social media based, it's phone based. So the positives of WhatsApp are that it's free and easy to use. Also that it opens up conversation. As I said, people getting to build on other people's answers, also people asking each other questions, builds a sense of community and interaction. It strengthens connectivity and it creates a sense of community, and it's a quick and easy way to share information. As it works like text, you go on your phone, you can send information in literally a minute. It's super, super quick, or you can prepare it and you can access WhatsApp from your laptop, and you can copy and paste information from there or share images from your computer, which is great. So another great feature of WhatsApp is that it has a calling function. So the messaging works similar to text, the calling works similar to a phone service, apart from it doesn't go through your phone provider. So all you need is a phone number and a strong enough Wi-Fi connection. WhatsApp calling is an alternative to a phone call or a FaceTime video, as you have the option to have your video on or to just have an audio call. Voice calling allows you to call your contacts for free using the internet. It's more inclusive as it is compatible for both iOS and Android services. So iOS is the operating system of Apple, and Android is the operating system of companies like Samsung and Samsung Galaxy, and other companies like that. So Apple, unfortunately, have a different sort of software within Apple, which makes it difficult for some services, but WhatsApp's great for that because you can access this app from both of the phone's operating systems. So it's an app that you'll have to go into the App Store and download. It's free to download. You set it up quickly using your mobile phone number. This also means that people on the app are verified. So they're verified through a phone number, so you're less likely to have people in your group chat accidentally, because you need to have some sort of verification through your phone number. So unfortunately with the calling, there is limitations. You can only call it up to 4 people at once. So the positives are that it's compatible on most smartphone devices. It's very easy to use. It has simple functions that mimic texting or calling. It's free if you're connected to your Wi-Fi or a public Wi-Fi. And you can take calls on the go as you would answer your phone normally. So when I said earlier that phone calls are a great way to connect to people, as it's really reliable and quick. People are more likely to pick up a phone call quickly than they are to respond to an email. So it works really well in that aspect, but the limitations are that you can have 4 people on a phone call. It doesn't do mass phone calls, but there is other platforms that we can use for that. So this is just an example of what a WhatsApp voice call looks like. You just have the 2 pictures of the people that are calling, very similar to just calling on a mobile phone, just on your actual call app. So another great platform to use for communication is Facebook Messenger. Facebook Messenger is a part of Facebook, even though it has its own standalone app. As well as messaging, it lets you have phone conversations and video calls, both in one-to-one sessions and also in groups. So they really have put a lot of money into developing the Facebook Messenger app into a platform that can be used for lots of different types of communication, such as the calls and the video. And similar to WhatsApp, it's not going through your phone provider, it's going through your Wi-Fi. Well, it's calling the person on your Wi-Fi connection, which means you can use public Wi-Fi, you can use Wi-Fi at home. It's a great tool again, for people that might be restricted in terms of what they have access to. So in very basic terms, Facebook Messenger is an instant messaging application or app that allows you to exchange messages for free with other Messenger users that have a Facebook account, an active Facebook account. Verified people, so the positives of the Facebook messaging app are as follows. You have to be verified on Facebook as it's linked to your Facebook profile. So each person that you're messaging comes with a whole page that you can look at and learn about them with, which makes it easier to know who you're contacting. Another positive is there's a capability for very large group chats. So I don't know the upper limit, but I know that I've been in a Facebook Messenger group chat with 50 people before, and it's worked really well. The layout's very clear, it's easy to understand, and everyone's messages come on the left and they have their profile pictures which you can click on and see who's sending what, and your messages come on the right and you can see where you've participated in the group activity. A great feature that WhatsApp lacks is the polling feature to vote on decisions in the Facebook groups. So I'll see if there's a demonstration. I put some images in here. I'll see. So you can see just on the middle screen that people have created a group chat for a wedding, so like a certain event, which is another way that you can use them. You could have a general group chat, or you could create group chats focused around events. And in the middle section, there's an example of the polling option that you could use, and people vote on what they would prefer. So here they're deciding where to have the party, but you could do this for anything. And it's a great way to get instant feedback on how people are feeling about a decision, and it's less interaction in terms of replying. So you are more likely to get feedback because it's not going to send everyone a vote, like a notification when they vote, which is very beneficial. And yeah, so it's great. Limitations are that you do need a Facebook profile. So maybe if you had a Facebook group chat in conjunction with the WhatsApp group chat to make sure that you have social media and phone numbers covered, that would be a good idea. So for messaging and communication, SMS or text messaging is a great way to send people information. It's a way of sending short messages from one phone to another phone. SMS stands for short messaging service, but it's something we know and understand as texting. A large proportion of people own or have access to a mobile phone. Sending a text message is one of the faster ways to contact someone or gain a response. Similar to phone calls, your notifications come through and you understand the priority of your notifications on your phone. So for most people, texts and calls are higher in terms of priority of answering because they're often more urgent forms of communication. So you're more likely to get a fast reply. It's one of the faster ways to contact someone. IMessage is specific to iOS and Apple. So it's a Wi-Fi messaging service. I'll just show you the picture of this, which is just gives you a bit of explanation. So in green on the iPhone, this means it's sent as a text message and it's sent through your phone provider. The blue on the left is iMessage, and it's all in the same app as your SMS text messaging. But if it's in blue, it means you're communicating through iMessage with another person with an iPhone. So it works the same way as texting. I just wanted to clear it up in case people were a little bit confused as to why texting might be different between two iPhone users. It works the exact same way as text, except it's free as it's done over your data or Wi-Fi. When sending an iMessage, the text message will be blue rather than green. So some of the benefits to iMessage or SMS texting are direct contact with the recipient. You could send out text alerts to provide information. It's not the way I would choose. I would use texting or messaging for quick information, asking for a response, asking a question, so that you can have that direct contact. Another positive is higher probability of quick answers, because as I said, people's priorities on text and calls are quite a lot higher up. They're more likely to see it than a social media notification. And also, the majority of people that have a mobile phone, even the most basic non-smartphones, tend to have text functions and phone call functions. So it's great if you think that maybe you're interacting with people that don't have access to smartphones or phones that operate with social media. Moving on from messaging, we have Zoom. So this is getting into our online conferencing section of what we were talking about with our methods. Online conferencing is a great way for face-to-face contact, and especially with what we've been going through with lockdown and being more isolated than we have before, seeing people is something that we've taken for granted, and there's more of a connection, more of a personal connection, and you feel like you can get to know someone when you're video calling rather than just hearing a voice. It's a voice to a name type thing. So Zoom is a great web-based conferencing tool. It has a desktop application and a mobile app for smartphone users that allows users to meet online with or without video. So like now, you can have your mic muted and your video off, and you can remain quite anonymous. So maybe for people less confident, there is options there that you can play with and figure out what's best for people. Zoom has many features and is a great platform for hosting group meetings or delivering group activities. You can record sessions like we are today, collaborate and share screens. As you have all managed to join today, I will assume that you're all experts. Zoom offers a free basic plan, which offers you unlimited meetings, an unlimited amount of meetings. You can try Zoom for as long as you like. There's no trial period. With the free plan, meetings are limited to 45 minutes and you can host a maximum of 100 people. So if you're looking to scale up from those sort of sizes, Zoom might be something that you still want to invest in so you have access to higher quantities of people or a longer amount of time. But if you do want to do 45 minutes and you want the session to carry on, you can end the session and start a new one straight away. So there's ways around it, it just makes it a little bit difficult. If you're an organisation looking to further your use of Zoom, you can purchase pro packages and add-ons, such as webinars like we're using today. The pro package provides unlimited time and more participants. So you can video call up to 100 participants. If I have a Zoom screen down here. So there's an example of the Zoom screen just at the bottom. And the factors of Zoom, up to 100 participants. It's free to use with minor limitations. Like, the positives of Zoom really do outweigh the limitations. And if you're looking for more out of your Zoom, you can either invest, or there are mildly inconvenient ways around it, such as ending the call and starting a new one. And also, the biggest positive in my eyes is the face-to-face So having video calls and being able to have meetings and chat with people and chat in real time as well. It's great for interaction and it's great for group morale. And more than anything, conversation. I think sometimes it's difficult to articulate yourself through email or messaging, but having a conversation can really get across your message and bring people in and make them feel part of the conversation or part of the discussion. And also not just communication, because as we're talking about, it's about activities as well. You wonder why I get this notification. It's great for activities as well, such as I know people that deliver girl guiding meetings, so they still have girl guiding meetings throughout lockdown where they can do crafts or they can deliver programs, still earn badges, which is really great. It's really inspiring to see other groups using Zoom in a way to keep that connection up and keep seeing new people as we're stuck still quite isolated in our houses. So we will move on to Teams. Teams is very similar to Zoom. It is the Microsoft developed online conferencing tool that has been it's been developed by Microsoft to sort of overtake Skype. So while I really like and support Skype, Skype is, I think it's planned to be like designed out of the video conferencing by 2 years' time. So I think Teams will overtake Skype. So it's definitely something worth looking into if you're looking for longevity of online meetings and web-based video conferencing. So Teams is great as it is a messaging and video calling program that allows you to connect with other people in your organizational group, available on both Android and iOS. So you can get the phone app or you can get it on your desktop, which are both great. It has easy to use features and it allows you to message, video call, share documents and schedule things into a calendar. It's a great platform for larger or formal organizations as it creates space to bring other people together. It's also more secure than Zoom, so ideal for you if you're delivering confidential services. Something I'd say a difference about Zoom and Teams is that Teams is like a built-in workplace, whereas Zoom, you host your meetings and you chat in the meetings, but there's no sort of chat function outside of that. Like Zoom, you set up a meeting address. Teams is something you log into and there's chat functions and call functions and calendars and stuff like that. So I'd say it's more of a whole package if you're looking at getting something for a larger organization or a formal group. It's something really great. So it creates a space that can bring people together. It's also more secure. Anyone with a business or a consumer email account, such as Outlook or Gmail, can participate as a guest in Teams with full access to team chats, meetings, and files. You can also invite people to join video calls or meetings as a guest. So the positives of Teams, you just got a little example just below of the desktop and layout of Teams. So you can see down the left hand side you've got activity, chat, Teams, calendar, calls. It's really comprehensive. And the positives include the full interface, including the chat, calendar, everything that I've just said. Also the face-to-face contact that's similar to Zoom. It's so great to be able to see people and to chat people and to have that live interaction. It's also simple and easy to navigate. It's definitely something that I'd recommend for people who maybe struggle getting around on more complex sites, because Teams has a very simple 5 or 6 option taskbar, and that's it. And once you click that, you're into all of the functions, and it's not too difficult. It's not too difficult to pick up. And it's something Microsoft have really been developing, so there's lots of resources that you can access alongside all of their development of the program. Teams has lots of features, and it's also safer and more secure than other platforms. So we'll move on to another video calling application. This time, however, it is for iOS only, unfortunately. So Facetime is a video call service for people who have iPhone, iPad, or an iMac. Facetime is a video chat application developed by Apple. You can't make Facetime calls from an Android device. However, there are other ways of making video calls, as we've spoken about, Teams and Zoom. You can get the mobile apps for those as well, which would be a great alternative to Facetime. However, I think Facetime, although it's a video call, functions very similarly to a phone call. It's a pre-installed app on iPhones. So if you swipe left, there's a search bar and you can type in FaceTime and you'll find the app, and anybody in your contacts list with another iPhone, you can FaceTime them just by clicking on call, and then you'll get a few options and FaceTime should be one of them. FaceTime has the same benefits of phone calls in that way that they're more urgent. The notification comes very quickly and it is quite reliable to get an answer. So it just depends on whether people have Apple devices. It calls people for free. It doesn't go through your phone provider as it uses Wi-Fi connection. This means it's great for international calls and great for people who, or it means that you don't have to pay, essentially. So the benefits are FaceTime is easy to use. You can take calls on the go, and it's pre-installed on iPhones, so it's very easy. It also is really easy in terms of layout. There's very few buttons and it's very, very simple. You just slide to answer on the bottom, and then once you're on the FaceTime, you just press the end call button to hang up. So it's very, very easy to use. Okay, so communication activities regarding social media. Social media has become a popular and useful way of staying in touch with each other. It provides a snapshot into people's lives and is great for making social connections. It's also a useful way of sharing information and promoting your organization, groups, or activities. Having a Facebook page for your group will help increase your visibility, promote your services, and reach more people. Facebook is a great platform for creating online community, and below are a few of the types of social media that you can categorize into how they function. So hopefully this will make sense, but social media and social networking, I've put Facebook and LinkedIn because they're very much sites where you connect with people, you reach out to people, and it's about building community. The whole of the platform is based on building community and really being able to connect with people that you know. So then another option would be microblogging, which Twitter or Tumblr. So if you know Twitter's like you tweet things and it's not very interactive, it's more informative, which is why they say blogging, because you're putting information out there and people can like it and retweet to it and reply to it, but it's not like a social media based on that sort of interaction. It's very based on sharing information and just putting information out there. So great if you want to tweet things you're doing, such as our digital bite size, it's great for that. Or it's great for sharing about events, but in terms of creating community, you're probably best connecting with people on Facebook. Photo sharing sites include Instagram, Snapchat, and Pinterest. This really depends on your demographic. If you want to get onto Instagram, Instagram is quite a high maintenance app, and you do have to create visually pleasing content that you share quite a lot. And Instagram, I would say it's similar to microblogging in the sense that you're sharing information, but it's in image form, so photo sharing. It's not so much a place where you connect with people, but people follow you. So they follow you for the information, but it's not sort of a two-way thing. And then also, sorry about that. I'll try and get back to that as quickly as possible. Let me just go on to present. So I think I was about to talk about video sharing, which is apps such as YouTube, and I'll see what it says before I say anything more. YouTube, Facebook Live, Periscope, and Vimeo. Again, really great for documenting what you're doing. So I feel like YouTube and such is great for promotional content or documentation, not so much information sharing or community, but it is a nice place for people to look at what you've been doing. So again, it's not massive for communication or interactive activity, but definitely great for people to get a sense of what your group's doing, or what sort of things you're promoting. So if you made a promotional video for something that you're doing that could then be shared on your Facebook, that's a really nice way to interact with YouTube content, but it's not as interactive as Facebook or a group chat. So below is just an example of an Instagram, and you don't see text as much on Instagram, so it is very visual. So maybe if you have a demographic that is largely on Instagram and you have lots of really nice images that you want to post, or showing what you're doing, documenting what you're doing, and promoting further things, it is a great tool for you. But I would actually recommend Facebook if you're looking to build community. And also, more people have Facebook. Facebook is one of the biggest social medias, and Instagram is a specific demographic. So, as social media pages are public facing, one option to consider is setting up a closed Facebook group. It's a safer and more private way to share information with your members, group, or organization. You can also have real-time chat, allowing you to stay connected and build a community or support network. So this is a really great way to retain the privacy that you might be looking for, because you might think Facebook is very public, anybody could be on there. If you're more of a private group, a way to safeguard and look after your community is to approve people into the group, which is essentially what a Facebook group is. So people will be able to see the name of the group and members of the group, but none of the content shared within the group. So you could even name the group discreetly if you're worried about people being participants in the group. But it's more of a case how people find you and how much you're willing to share with the public. So to join a closed group, you have to be approved by an administrator or invited by a member of the closed group. If you're thinking about setting up a group, it's a good idea to have some basic rules which members must abide by. Also, make sure that members understand the limitations of the group. For example, it shouldn't be used in an emergency or out of hours, and it's important to manage people's expectations of how accessible you are to them as the group, because it's understandable that you might need time to reply, or you might need time to share resources before you can get back to people, to go and find that information to be able to share with people. So it's important to understand social media isn't instant. but it is a great way to get in contact with the administrators or other members of the group. Again, another great way to build community because everyone's in this closed group together. It feels like more of a group and less of a following, which is, I think, is something you lose with stuff like Twitter and Instagram. So the positives of this are they're controlled by an administrator. This means that you can keep control and you can enforce the rules, just some niceties rules, just to keep everybody friendly and not cross any boundaries that people might have. Another positive, safe and private way of sharing, very important, and will probably gain the trust of some of the people within the group, which is important so that people feel that they can trust you and that they can share with you and be more open. Because whilst public groups are definitely great, people might be hesitant to comment or reply, fearing that that other people would see it and could be judgmental. Another positive with Facebook, people are verified through social media pages. They will have their own profile. You can see who they are and what they're like. Obviously, people can present false information, but it's rare that people will infiltrate a group with a fake profile. And it just means that you can get a sense of who a person is before they're admitted. And also, it is a great way of building an online community. It's definitely nice to have a group, to feel a part of a group, and I feel like a private Facebook group or a public Facebook group is a great way to do this because people belong to something. There's a page that they can go to see this information. So I definitely highly recommend this if you're looking to communicate, share information, and build community. So let me check the time. Yep, that is about all. This is just a screen cap of a closed Facebook group. All the names are blurred, but you can see at the top, closed group, 56 members, and the posts just work the way they would in a public group, except they're hidden from the public. So if you'd like to learn more about how to use social media for your group, we're running dedicated sessions later in the year. I also know that our next bite-sized session next week on the Thursday will be about how to set up video calling. So we'll be very focused on Zoom, but we'll cover Teams. And let me know if you want to cover phone apps, because that's definitely something I could look at adding a little bit on if it interests people. But I think we'll focus on Zoom as it's free and it's a great platform. So we have some time for Q&A. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and head over to the Q&A function.